Hello, Christian here. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. I know I say this at every episode, but I had the opportunity to meet this guy, and you guys gonna meet him today. The more I read about him, the more I realized I want to be just like him. And you guys gonna have the opportunity to meet him right after this. Hello again, everybody. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show, and I'm super excited for today's guest. Not only is he a coach, he has a book out there. If you guys haven't done so, you guys need to check it out. He's a speaker, he's a business consultant, and he currently helps multi-unit restaurant owners build back better after all the things they went through. He worked with the top 100 brands in the industry. He is a god in our industry. With that, I guys want to welcome Mr. Jason Brooks. Welcome to the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show.
Thank you, Christian. If I am allowed to stand on your shoulders to be able to be a god in this industry, that would make me a super god. Goodness gracious. And I would be able to see details of Mars by standing on your shoulders. I got to say that right now. But no, thank you. I appreciate it. Love being here.
So, truth be told, we were looking for new people to bring to our audience here. And as we started doing some research, as we found out who are the movers and shakers in the industry, Jason, your name came up everywhere. Everybody talked about you. We checked out your podcast, which is absolutely amazing. So to our listeners, if you haven't done so, make sure you go out there and check out this podcast. It's amazing what he does, the insights he brings. If you want to learn about leadership, you guys need to have him on your radar, bring him onto your event, bring him into your campuses. He's absolutely amazing. And so we kind of privately stalked you, thanks to social media. Oh, we know more about you than you're probably comfortable with. But for us, it was just great because as we started going, Jason, but I was like, oh my God, hold on. Truth be told, here's go. This is my Jason book. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages of notes. So I have 8 pages of notes. I need to talk to him about that. I need to ask him, how the heck did he do that? And so for me, I'm just really excited about this conversation, Jason, for 3 reasons. You're an amazing human being. You're really good in what you do. You have a really great way in delivering a leadership message, which is not an easy thing. And then finally, when people connect with you, when you speak, for me, it's not something you heard of, you read about, or, I went to this conference and I learned this. No, you went through it. You can experience it on your own. It comes from a very sincere place. And sometimes the message you have is not easy to take. And I love that about you. So with that, Jason, give our viewers and our listeners here a little bit of glimpse. Who's Jason Brooks?
Jason Brooks, man, restaurant lifer, like most of the people watching this show, restaurant lifer. And, even when I think about how I pursued my career, really, just to be honest, a lot of us don't start out pursuing a career in the restaurant industry. Let's be honest. There are very few that do pursue it from day one. Whenever I was younger, I actually, as a preteen, I came from a broken home.
Yeah.
And a broken home, I was with my mother. My mother and my father were split. It was myself, my mother, and my brother. And even as a preteen, not even full teenager, I would experiment in cooking in the kitchen. And I think that one of the reasons why I did that, inside of this broken home, we never really got together that much. It was only sparsely that we actually were together in the same room. Challenges that goes with that. That's not for this podcast. But when I cooked food, even at the age of 12, 13, we would actually take time out of our day to sit down and eat. Even my brother's friends would come over and steal the dishes that I was making. That's how I knew I had something going. Now, as I got older, my mother was working quite a bit, and I was in high school, 15 years old. I actually got a job washing dishes, and she didn't know about it. It was under the table. After about 3 weeks, she comes home and there's a lot more groceries inside the kitchen than there was whenever she left for work. And she's like, Jason, where did all this food come from? And I'm like, Mom, I promise I didn't do anything bad. I went and got a job. But even back then, I still wasn't pursuing a career in the industry. And I think that it really began to click whenever my wife hit me on the head with something hard and said, Honey, you're really good at doing this restaurant thing. Why are you fighting it? I think
Mm,
that a lot of us within this industry, we go through that same challenge of fighting the thing that we're good at. And it
yeah.
all boils down to we think that at times people are trying to change us. We look at the
Mm,
industry, we look at people that were above us in leadership roles, teaching us things to
mhm,
help us better how we do. And we would think, oh, they're trying to change me. No, they're not trying to change you. They're actually trying to teach you systems for you to be more successful at what you do. And now,
yeah.
how can you separate that and be your authentic self? So,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a part of my story of how I really begun to get into this industry as a career.
I love that. I love that. And for me, that story, and you are, and I spoke like a week or two ago, is I love that story that you bring. I don't want to call it a broken home, but where you grew up, bringing this into what you do on a daily basis. I think that what makes you so good at it. And you are an amazing speaker. I always said I want to be like Jason Brooks, because when you speak, you have that innate ability to connect with people, and people say that's a learnable skills. I think that's bullshit. You're innately good at. That's what you are meant to do. This is what you meant to be here to share back to the industry, and you extremely good at. So where was that first time you knew, you know what, I'm more than being a back of the house guy, a chef, being in what I do. I know I can serve the community in the industry in a greater way.
That's going to be a even more difficult, not difficult, crazy answer because a lot of people don't know this, but I used to stutter.
Mhm.
And I'm talking about stutter bad. I could not finish a sentence. I'd get all of the nicknames. I had to be pulled out of class in elementary school to get taught how to breathe when I speak. And all of those times, it still didn't help. It followed me all the way into high school. So even when I got my first job, to be honest, washing dishes, I could put my head down and focus on knocking out something and not having to conversate.
Yeah, yeah.
That to me was my way of focusing in. But as I understood the hospitality industry, I began to understand that you can't just do that. You have to call back orders.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to call back things that you're being told. If
Mhm.
you're running a team on your shift, you have to give orders. So then I wanted to know, how can I be better at what I say? Then I enrolled in Toastmasters. Toastmasters taught me how to speak
I
contemporaneously
love
on
that.
the spot and figure out how to say what you say impactfully. After getting into Toastmasters, I started to get or dive into the public speaking realm. I then signed up for booked and paid to speak. The
Mhm.
Speaker Lab. The Speaker Lab taught me the business side. Then I now looked at now in the hospitality industry, we speak on stage every day. We get on a soapbox for alley rallies. We get on a soapbox for pre-shift, and we're telling people that are focused on their bills, on all these other things that are going on in their life, and we're reorientating them to what we need them to do for the next 4 to 8 hours. And we have to be impactful. We have to choose the words perfectly, and we have to be someone that they want to listen to. That's what then started to compel me and push me more towards the public speaking aspect.
I love that. I love that. And I love the idea of you saying, hey, I can make this, an excuse, and I don't need to speak because I stutter. People will accept me for that. Or I can take this and make it an asset. And you made it an asset because you're extremely good at that. And then part of your message, and I want our listeners to learn a little bit more about that. When you are out there and you speak, you set this distinction, the difference between goal setting and goal getting. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
All right, so goal setting and goal getting. We do amazing in this business at making large targets, giant targets for the year. We food costs, labor, sales. We're like, yes, this is great. This is awesome. We got our plan, printed off some pretty parchment paper, put it on the wall. Woohoo! Come on, December. And then 11 months later, we are nowhere near that plan.
Hmm.
We may have even took the executive team and boiled down to what each region needs to do in order
Yeah.
to, if you're that large, or what each head figure needs to do to help reach that goal. A lot of times we don't goal get
Hmm.
is because that goal never makes it to the guest facing employee. Not only does it not make it to the guest facing employee, we don't create what are the lead measures by every position within our business that's going to make this goal happen. Because
Hmm.
there's fires every single day. And those fires are going to throw us off. We do great at large targets and missing them, but it's crazy that in the hospitality business, we can't make bite-sized pieces for our team to digest and actually hit. And what I mean by that, versus making a year-long goal, like we always do, even in a single store operation. How come we can't make a goal for the week for our manager, for our team, and
Hmm.
track it accurately and simply for them to understand what it is that they're doing to help us get to that point and reassess every single week on the bite-sized pieces. Why? Because our we get distracted extremely easy. There's
Yeah.
so many things because we're firefighters. We're looking for the next thing that's on fire for us to turn our head and focus on that and then whew, go home. And again, 11 months later, oh, yeah, I forgot we were working on XYZ. Our goals are too large. So, goal getting instead of goal setting. Goal get is when you break it down to the bite sized pieces to everyone within your business and they fully understand what their role is to hit that three simple goals within your business. And we sit down each week and say, how did we do? What worked well? What do we need to change? And now on to the next week, bite sized pieces.
Love that. So where did this philosophy come from? And by the way, I love the way you broke it down, and I totally agree. I will actually, need to adapt that because I'm really good in setting it. I'm not good in getting. So I need to become better at that. So where did that philosophy come from?
That comes from a masterclass session that I have with my clients.
Hmm.
Versus say, I want to hit XYZ. It's good to know the overarching thing within our industry. I call that the leadership mindset.
Yeah.
The coaching mindset is really diving into the goals. When you do that, it's putting together your business case of your business, several categories about your business, and you're doing this with the person that is operating your business. Half the time, whenever this first step happens, just the business assessment, half the time, the general manager or the managing partner has never looked at the business within that many touch points in one setting. It's
Hmm.
so eye opening. Aside from the business review, then do a four corner walk of the exterior of their business, and then a four corner walk of both the front of house and back of house. Then sit down after going through that business review, looking at all of the exterior, all the interior, and then say, now, what are the three most important things for this location? Not for the company, not for your pockets, for this location. What are the three most important things? And formulating a plan for each week for 12 weeks of how to get to that with only those three most important things.
And
That is where that comes from.
I love that. I love the simplicity of that. And I encourage our listeners, go back 2 minutes and listen what he just said, because when he talks about this, you could put in food service, you could be write in pilot, you could write in store owner. The principles are the same. I love that. And when I hear you talking about it, for me, this is this is universal. This is not just food service when you talk about this. And then you kind of tie it back into the success is led by that we get really clear what are the three things, and it takes a leader to execute on. So talk to a little bit where that leadership piece come in to execute on that, because you're really big out there. And you have a book, by the way, if you can show the audience your book. I mean, you talk about that leadership piece all the time. You also tell that leadership is a learnable skill and every leader needs followers. So if you guys haven't done so, make sure you run over to Amazon and get yourself a copy. And can you talk to us a little bit about where, so you have the three principles. These are the three things, what's important for me to get done. Where does the leadership piece come in?
Now, this goes back to key number 5 in the book. The book is called Every Leader Needs Followers. And key number 5 is leading with the right mindset, managing versus leading versus coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 3 mindsets. The managing aspect is the one that gets the most negative press because people say, management, that's such a negative word, yada, yada, yada. But to be honest, let's be true. We are a business first.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not a business first, we are unable to make profits in order to have the opportunities for the community, for people that work for us, in order to move on within their life. So we are a business first. Profit is not a dirty word. And it's just fine that we're taking that managing mindset of taking a group of people to hit a certain point by a certain time within a certain budget. We're keeping them in the
Mm-hmm.
guardrails of the business in order to create that opportunity. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that there's been some bad managers. Then you have
Yeah.
the leadership mindset. The leadership mindset is that overarching view of the whole industry. It is understanding the future capabilities that's coming down the road, as we spoke about. How do you find that thing, know that this is the next baton to be passed on, and help to make that better, while you're also finding ways to help overcome challenges with people that didn't know what the next step should be or could be. That's that leadership mindset. It also gets much deeper. But then there's the coaching mindset. The coaching mindset is the one that's the most overlooked. And it's the most overlooked because coaching is the mastery of one-on-ones and small groups. It's
I love that.
understanding where your team is and how to know how they want to get from here to there and what you can do in order to help them get there. But one of the most overlooked pieces of that overlooked mindset is that it's not about you dumping information on them. It's you making the space to get to know the individuals so that they can actually make choices and get the maximum return from that choice. Because half the time, whenever we get 1,000 phone calls at 2 a.m. because they ran out of paper towels, it's because they think we don't get them. We don't understand them, that if they make a choice and it's wrong, we're going to think the worst. But when we create space to understand them, that's whenever you actually start building back time and you get to know where they are, where they want to be, and help cut the red tape to make them better.
Love that. Absolutely. By the way, I can listen to this all day and it's so needed. And for me, like the way one builds on the other. So you have all of this. Restaurants do an amazing job out there putting out amazing product consistently and satisfying their customers. You always talk about that your leadership style should never, you should never lead alone. That was one of those things you always talk about. But what are some of the challenges multi-unit or restaurant owners face? And how do you help them with your strategies and techniques you have in place to overcome these?
One of the biggest challenges that multi-unit owners and multi-unit managers run into is that they forget what got them to be successful. And what I mean by that is that when you're a restaurant manager, think about what your day is and what builds success. You have clipboards, you
Hmm.
have systems, you have mini GMs, you have people around you helping to relieve you of the things that don't make sense for you to focus on, so that then you can focus on what's most important.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy to me that multi-unit owners and multi-unit managers, the moment that they get into a two-store or more situation, the first thing they do is they drop all systems. They
Hmm.
think they can walk in like a gunslinger and just, oh yeah, I know what to do. I can do this, that, and that. Give me 10 minutes in this restaurant. I will tell you exactly what's no. Half the time when they get driven crazy and then complain about working 8 days a week is because they have no system. They have no one that they're training to help be a mini owner, a mini district manager. They've left everything that made them successful and they're now shooting from the hip. That is the biggest mistake that I find.
I love that. So, if when people dive into your content, you're known of having wildly outrageous ideas. Talk to us a little bit about. Give me an example. Hey, what was an idea where people said, "This guy's off his rocker," and what was the idea, and what was its impact?
I will circle right back to it. Weekly one-on-ones. Weekly one-on-ones. And people are like, what? Weekly one-on-ones? Jason, I do a dang one-on-one once a month, and sometimes I skip them. No,
Mm,
weekly one-on-ones. And people say that that is wildly outrageous because they don't have time for it. Well, guess what?
yeah.
You don't have time for it because you don't do one-on-ones.
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you why. One-on-ones first. It should be done with people who report directly to you. Now, I'm not saying that you have a staff of 60 and you're doing 60 one-on-ones. What I'm saying is, as a manager or as an owner, you probably have 4 to 6 people that report directly to you.
Hmm.
They should be getting weekly one-on-ones. What
Agreed.
this does is it does a few things. It's going to build back your time. You split it into 3 segments of these one-on-ones. Every time this gets done, you will buy back your time. The first
Hmm.
segment is the first 10 minutes, they get to speak about anything that they want. The person you're doing the one-on-one with speaks about anything that they want. It can
Hmm.
be about Yu-Gi-Oh cards, about their kids, about sports. It doesn't matter. Second 10 minutes is you reporting back on any questions that they had during the prior one on one. The
Yep.
third segment is about them speaking about their challenges or what they want to do at work, their goals. They are informing you on all of their information. Why? Because we have time to dump info all day long. We have made Slack groups, we have group text messages. We can send a dang crow from Winterfell to Westeros with a message tied around its leg about what's going on with labor. But how many times do we create again the space to get to know that individual? When we do, you will find that you have them reaching out to you less often because they know every week at Thursday at 3:30 at that one table in the back right corner, they will be able to bring all their challenges to
That.
you at
Love
that
that.
point. They don't have to stop you multiple times per day or per week or text message in order to bring that. But you have to keep the schedule. You cannot cancel it for any reason at all.
You talk about that consistency is key in that. Where do you think that it's coming in, and why is consistency so important around having these meetings consistently?
Man, the rhythm and the pattern in what we do is absolutely true. If we think about our life is so inconsistent at times. But when you create consistency for another individual,
Hmm.
there's magic. There is absolute magic. They will do almost anything and everything for you because they know what to expect. It's kind of like if you ever watch Despicable Me, they have these minions. I
Yep.
think that one of the minions named Kevin. Kevin got stabbed by this needle that turned him half evil and half good. Okay. So there's times that Kevin, the manager, comes in, he's high fiving, like, yeah, good job. You're on fire. Go, go, go. You're awesome. And then everyone in the restaurant's like, oh man, Kevin, he's awesome. He's amazing. I love Kevin. And then Kevin comes in that next week. And then they're like, uh-oh, it's evil Kevin. Everyone in the restaurant's been the same all week long.
Yeah.
Kevin, he's changed. That consistency, not
Love that.
only for the employees, but for the brand and for the guest, is extremely important. And again, that goes back to where usually bad management gets a bad rap because of that
Yeah.
inconsistency.
I love that. I love that. I love that reference to the minions because I see Kevin. Yeah, Kevin always gets the short end of the stick, and I love that because everybody, and I know our listeners can relate to that. So, for our listeners, if you haven't done so, make sure you save this episode. Make sure you like it. Make sure you send it to your friends. Also, if you would like to, make sure you get on to the Disruptive Chef Club, which is our private community to get some behind the scene glimpses and updates on some future episodes. But before we finish, I have one more question for you, Jason. And if you allow us to, we have this new thing we want to play with you called Rapid Fire Question Food Service Edition for people to get
Oh man.
more.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Before we get in that, I want to know, talk to us about, that whole concept of HospiVation. So what's behind HospiVation? And let us look a little bit behind the curtain. What are you working on for your business over the next 6 months? And what is Jason working on, Jason, over the next 6 months?
HospiVation is the mix of hospitality and motivation. It goes back to making sure of being the most impactful with how we interact with everyone, that whole 360-degree leadership. And HospiVation is the core business for Jason E. Brooks. I am me. I'm a professional speaker. I'm a CEO. But HospiVation, what it's being built into, it's being built into this community that you can find everything you need for managing, leading, and coaching, and being able to get these systematic processes to where you can remain who you are
Mm-hmm.
while creating better systems for yourself. 6 months from now, this media company, this consulting company of being able to have something for a community that when they want to get on, bounce ideas, and get the absolute drive and feedback that they need in real time when it comes down to hospitality. But even you said it, this information, these systems, these processes that's in this book, every leader needs followers. It's not just about restaurants. It's not about hotels. It's
Mm-hmm.
about everyday business systems and processes and being able to understand that manager, leader, coach mentality, when to choose the right one to get the best outcome, not just a good one, but the best outcome, and win back your time. That's what it's all about.
And I
So
love that.
that is the focus of Jason E. Brooks and of HospiVation.
Love it. Love it. And by the way, I can talk to you forever. This has been an amazing conversation. And to our listeners, if you haven't done so, make sure you like this episode. Make sure you share it with a friend. And for additional content, behind the scene glimpses, and updates on future episodes, make sure you join our private community, which is the Disruptive Chef Club. So with that, Mr. Jason, are you ready for Rapid Fire Question Food Service Edition? Awesome.
Yes, sir.
You should be scared. I've seen some of those
I
questions.
am. I
Mine is mean. And so the way this works, Jason, we have 30 questions. You give me a number. I read the question. You answer as quickly as you can. Okay. With that, Jason, give me a number between 1 and 30.
4.
4. Ooh, what kitchen rule do you love to break just to annoy other people around you?
That would have to be cutting, looking at my product, because I one time I bought a brand new set of Wusthof knives and I was showing off because there were some cute servers, and I should have been holding my calamari and looking down and being safe, but I was trying to be cute and the servers were cute. So I looked up and I cut straight through my fingertips and I was like, oh my gosh, ran to the sink, got some sugar, dipped my fingers inside the sugar to get the bleeding to stop, got the sanitizer, cleaned off my station, got back to work. So yes, that's one that looked down and I didn't. I was looking up trying to show off. So yeah.
Thank God nobody ever did that. You're the only one. Okay. Give me another question between 1 and 30.
Ooh, 21.
21. What philosophy on kitchen waste do you use? Love it, hate it, or serve it as a special?
What kitchen philosophy? Say it one more
So,
time,
what
please.
kitchen philosophy on food waste? Do you use it? Do you lose it? Or you serve it as a special?
Serve it as a special.
That's the difference between a chef or cook. Serve that shit. You're right. I'm with you.
Serve it as a special. We have 4 hours before the fish turns.
To our listeners, I don't support that. For
Kidding.
me, my
Kidding.
cutoff is 5 hours, not 4 hours. Okay. Okay. Between 1 and 30. Question number 3.
Okay, question number 3. Let's go with a rounded number 10.
Number 10. When tradition knocks on your kitchen door, do you answer or tell it to get the F lost?
Actually, I like to answer tradition because if not, it will get lost. It's good to revisit and have that throwback
Mhm.
Thursday. It's
Love
good to
that.
have that throwback Thursday every now and then. So, yes, I will answer twisted
Awesome.
inside there, but put a little Jason signature on it, though.
Love it.
Yes.
Open the damn door. I'm with you. Okay. 2 more questions. Give me a number between 1 and 30.
Woo. Let's go 29. Close to the
29.
bottom.
Ooh. What food do you love to experiment with, even though when your staff begs you, just stop?
Oh man, I would have to go with basil because people, I mean, too much basil every day can be like, okay, now just stop. Okay. It's basil in the drink, basil in the dessert, basil in the entree, basil in that. Jason, can we just move to a different herb, please? Can we just get on something?
Love it.
So basil.
Love it.
I love basil though.
Anybody out there using too much basil, make him stop. Okay. Last question between 1 and 30.
Number one.
Number 1. Ooh, what is the weirdest thing you ever drawn in a pan, served it, and called it gourmet?
Ever served in a pan, ever thrown in a pan, served it, called it gourmet. Fried ice cream. Fried ice cream. I actually, yes, fried ice cream. I actually took the crumbing, patted the ice cream, put it inside there, let it caramelize, put it on top. I didn't use basil, I used mint. And then some
Your
caramel
family
sauce.
has
Hey, it's gourmet.
that completes
Fried ice cream.
rapid fire question, food service edition.
Oh,
Thank you for
jeez.
for
That was
playing.
scary.
Hopefully, our listeners learned something about him. He likes the fish hour rule, 4 hours, and he loves people. And if the if the staff tells you, please stop, just please, please,
Oh my
you,
gosh.
you you know you overdid it. So, Jason, I want to just say thank you for being here today. Thanks for the gift of your time. Thanks for sharing your insight and inspire our audience. So if our audience wants to know more about Jason E. Brooks, make sure you put in the E. Otherwise, you meet a very famous painter in England. That's what happened to me, because okay, truth telling. Okay, a little here. I learned about Jason. I was like, this guy's effing amazing. Oh my God. And then I put in your website and I was like, oh shit, he's a fucking painter too. I mean, this guy does it all, you know? I was like, I hate this guy with a passion. And then he's so amazing. It hurt my
And I was
feelings.
white. I was like, and he's a white painter. This is amazing. This guy's a chameleon. I
Funny
swear.
thing is, he even picked that up. I was like, oh my God, his work is a fucking amazing. This guy's a rock. So truth be told, I love what you do. I love how you support the industry. I love you as a person, and we need to do a 2.0. So you need to promise me to do a 2.0 of that. So if our listeners want to know more, they want to pick up a book, maybe even a signed copy of your book, where can our listeners find you?
To get a signed copy, you can go to jasonebrooks.com/every leader. And when you order it from my website, I will actually sign your book and send it to you from my hands. It will not smell like basil. I promise you. You can still order the book on Amazon, yes, but they will not sign it for you. So jasonebrooks.com/every leader. I hope to sign your book soon.
Awesome. We really appreciate it. And thanks again for being here. Thanks, the gifts so generously of your experience and play rapid fire question food service edition. You did amazing. It's not a competition, but you definitely in the front of the pack. You knocked it out of the park. So thank you for that. And the whole basil thing, I will laugh about this for weeks. So thank you for that. And to our listeners, if you haven't done so, make sure you like this episode. Make sure you share it with a friend. If you feel there is somebody in your vicinity who needs to know more about how to approach food and learn more about setting goals versus getting goals, you guys need to check out what Jason does. It's the best half hour you spend. Make sure you get his book. It's the best money you invested for your own leadership and for your space. So with that, thank you for being here today. And just remember, until next time, disrupt the kitchen, fire up your career, stay hungry for change. I'm Christian, your disruptive chef, entrepreneur, host. I'm here with Mr. Jason, and we are signing off. We are out of here. Jason, thanks for being here today. And go out there, be the change, be the challenge, and be the chef who sets the world on fire. Until our next episode, everybody, make sure you get out there and be disruptive, everyone.